Okay, let's just get this. 3, 2, 1, thank you.
Growing up in Queen Grahamstown as a little boy, TV was a luxury. You must be prepared to pay 50 cents to go and watch the TV.
So you had to wait for Dad to come home so you can take the battery out of the car, plug it on a television set, and there were a couple of TV shows that we all watched.
Without giving away my age, we all used to converge at the right time to watch Michael Knight.
Watching MacGyver was this thing, and watching Knight Rider.
Obviously, everyone had to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because the next day at school it would be the hot topic of conversation.
It was called In the Heat of the Night. 70% white cast, and it was dubbed in Sesotho and Setswana. It was mind-boggling to hear everyone. All the characters speak all the different languages, but they didn't look like you.
The A-Team, those movies. I used to pretend when we were playing as Mr. T.
In the heat of the night.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Something like that.
Multichoice started in a caravan in terms of Mnet in Randburg, as you know, when they launched the first pay TV operator in analog format. Our ingredient is that we are built on innovation, competitiveness, and driving for excellence in whatever that we do, and we are not afraid to fail. Multichoice was the first digital television satellite outside of the US, which is phenomenal. We are proud of the transformation journey that the company has gone through over the years. We are level 1 contributor on BBBE. In terms of Naspers ownership, we are 55.75% black. Today, we employ over 8,000 people. And out of the 8,000 people that we employ, 87% of those are black. And in terms of gender, over 50% of those are female. We are a company that is known for taking risks and going into territories that people have never gone into. Usually, pay TV, it was always about international content, Hollywood. We then said, let's start looking at how we can develop local content, and eventually led us to launching Mzansi Magic, which shows over time, with a lot of investment and a lot of effort and focus into local production, it is the #1 channel on our platform.
Multichoice as a company has done something magical in terms of local content. 10 years ago, when I started in television, it was an era of buying American content. And what they did when they entered into the market is realizing that their audience, irrespective of class, irrespective of LSM, they want to see their daily lives portrayed on television. And Multichoice stepped into that vacuum and said, we will produce more content, which is local, and in doing that have really grown an entire television industry. Suddenly, producers had a platform to tell their stories. Suddenly, the industry became competitive, which meant that people now had jobs. My relationship with Multichoice started as a scriptwriter when we were brought in by Ferguson Films to work on shows like Rockville, which gave birth to Igazi, which gave birth to the ones of miniseries The Gift and then The Queen. And as writers, the channel saw something in us and decided to invest in us and propelled us to now become executive producers of our own telenovela called The River on One Magic.
Episode 1,
Action!
That was probably the biggest gamble I think the broadcaster has ever taken with us, but they were kind enough to create such strong support structures. And they themselves stepped up and said, we are going to help you pull it off, because if you succeed, we as an enterprise and as a business also succeed. Cheza Pictures was started by 2 scriptwriters who had a passion to one day change the face of television, and now currently has 80 people working for it to make one of the best television shows in the country. I love that, in that if you go to Alexander, everybody has a dish, and what you realize is that television is a necessity. It's no longer a privilege of the few.
Cut! Cut! Yes, that's the one, man!
Growing up in a small town, a lot of people wouldn't really understand what it is that I wanted to do, but thank goodness for my parents' support. I finished film school in 2014, and then immediately after that, I wasn't really sure as to how do I get into the industry. I mean, I think a lot of people can resonate with this because you don't have experience, which is one of the driving forces in the industry. The Multichoice Magic in Motion Academy is an extensive internship program where they select different graduates from all around the country. It bridges the gap between film school and industry experience. Such a great incubation where I was able to network with different industry experts and also build relationships. Myself and two partners who were also met during the Magic in Motion Academy were given the opportunity to pitch our company and hopefully get funding from Enterprise Development Program from Multichoice. We were actually very successful, and that's when they provided us with the necessary funding and necessary resources to officially kickstart our company. We're all about being young, producing local content, telling our African stories, and who better than young people of South Africa to tell the stories.
Aruta is just one example of the many beautiful stories that came out of the Magic in Motion. She's producing great content for us, and we continue to support her to be able to run successful business.
There's this new generation of artists who are coming up, and they're sort of like the pulse of South Africa, and I'm really excited to be a part of that generation that's bringing in color into our country.
In terms of making sure that we grow local businesses, first of all, we took a conscious decision that all our decoders are going to be manufactured in the country. Over the years, we have grown this area.
Most of the people, they get really surprised. They think Multichoice is importing this box from overseas or from China. For everyone's surprise, the decoder is produced locally and partly designed by our local engineers. Multichoice has got over 20 years giving companies an opportunity to produce their boxes. In so doing, they've created jobs that are required in the electronics manufacturing. At the moment, we do have about 250 employees that are working here full-time. Not only manufacturing that Multichoice has created opportunities for, also for the entire value chain. From logistics, moving the goods from Durban to our factory. We talk about processing, we talk about outbound logistics, and also there are jobs for warehousing.
We ended up creating a nice export market into the rest of Africa, into where we are operating, and created a lot of jobs. We believe that's the right strategy because it has worked really well for us.
TV, it's a communication tool, and it's a mind-opening instrument that every household should have. You don't know a joy when I walk into a retail shop and I know that this box comes from a factory.
Everybody that buys DSTV needs to get some installer coming into the house to do the installation. This is one area where we've seen people that have never had an opportunity, creating a small business that will continue to grow. And we created a nice environment of Multichoice agencies to be able to thrive by making sure that we have constant interaction with them. We give them the standard that they need to adhere to.
This is an industry that didn't exist before. My father, Gary Sr., started the company in 1995. They started off 2 installers, and today we have a little under 45 installers working for us. And we probably have about 15 staff members outside of those. We take in subscription of Multichoice channels. Secondly, we do technical support. And then we've got our sales of DSTV products as well. Aerial and Satellite City started with one vehicle. That vehicle was the life for the family. So we used to get picked up at school and we used to make sure that we were the last to come out so that we wouldn't be noticed being picked up in the installation bucket, jumping in the back. And ever since then, we've built up a fleet of 22 vehicles, so we've come a long way. Through working with Multichoice as a strong partner, to date there's about 1,200 accredited installers and 123 DSTV agencies operating nationwide.
Enriching lives is a term that is all-encompassing of what we stand for. We make sure that we empower the people from the employees that work within MultiChoice. We give customers as much value as we possibly can and make sure that they get a good product for what they are paying for.
The exciting time for me personally was when you finally connect up the decoder and you switch it on, and the joy that you experience. It's way more than just watching TV. This decoder opens up a world of possibilities.
When you think about it, it's so much more than just colorful pictures on the screen. You're able to inspire that young child in a small town who I was growing up. As much as you might not really see where you're going, being able to identify with some of the content that we put out there, it is a kid's entire frame of reference. It's like a view into the world.
As a television producer, I'm really proud to be working with a broadcaster like MultiChoice. It is always ahead of the curve of where television is going. To know that as a young television producer, I'm part of something big and something that is really going to revolutionize television, not only in South Africa, but in the whole continent, that makes me really proud.
They are a market leader, and they took a strategy to be leading in all spaces. One, in equity, and also lead in employment equity, and lead actually in enterprise development.
If you look at what we need to do as business to ensure that South Africa becomes a successful country, we should all be looking at how can we make sure that we assist each other as South Africans to be able to make sure that we grow the economy, we grow our industries, and make sure that skills are transferred to a people that were previously marginalized. And that is very critical and important as a country to be able to build on that inclusiveness and make sure that we take people from grassroots level and bring them into the fore of the economy of the country.